Hi everyone, welcome again to my channel. Thank you again for all my new subscribers and the old my old subscriber. Thank you for all your support. So today I will be making a very simple A-line top that is gonna have a neck band that will tie to the back of the neck. So to start, I'm using a silk fabric, and I've gone ahead and cut out my panel. I use the highest measurement of my my body, which is my hip measurement. I divided that by 4 plus 2 inches, 1 inch for seam allowance and 1 inch for ease, because I want it to be free. And this is the panel that I got, including the length of my top. So I've also gone ahead and measured the 3 inches mark plus the 8-inch mark here, and then on that line, my guideline, I measured down my my chest line, which is 9 inches, my waistline 16, and the length of my top from shoulder to my hip, which is 25 inches. So I've gone ahead and ruled out my horizontal line and also my vertical line here for the where I'm going to make my armhole. So the next thing I'm going to do now is measure the depth of my the length of my neckline, which is 3.5. I mark that right here. And then the depth for both the front and the back is going to be 3 inches. Mark it out right here. And then with my ruler, with my French curve ruler, I'll go ahead and mark my neckline. Or you can use your hand and connect that. Also, don't forget that on this 8-inch mark, you're going to come down by 1 inch and make your shoulder slope, which is what is right here. So after putting that, the next thing is going to be whatever is left over here, which is 8 inches. You find the midpoint, and my midpoint is 4 inches. I mark it here. On that 4-inch line, I'm going to come in by 1/4 inch, which I mark here. So this is going to be the front armhole. Then with your curved ruler, we're also going to mark our, this is our 9-inch right here for the armhole. So using our curved ruler, I'll first of all connect for the back armhole. And then for the front armhole, just place it right the same here. Alright, this is my front armhole, and this is the back armhole. I'm sorry, my chalk is not really showing very well. Okay, so after that, we're going to insert our bust measurement. My bust measurement is 38. 38 divided by 4. 38 divided by 4 is 9.5 plus 1 inch is and 1 inch seam allowance, and that gives me 11.5. So on this chest line, I mark my 11.5, which is right here. You see that? And then on my chest line, my waistline is a 34. 34 divided by 4 gives me 8.5. 1 plus 1 inch ease and 1 inch seam allowance, and that gives me 10.5 inches, and I mark it right here. And then on the hip line, my hip is 44. 44 divided by 4 is 11, plus 1 inch ease and 1 inch seam allowance, and that gives me 13. And I mark it right here. Then I use my ruler. Use my ruler, connect this. Then I use my hip cuff from the waist. From the waist, I connect this to the hip line. You can just use a straight ruler if you don't have a hip curve. Okay. Then on that line, I'm just gonna go all the way down here. So on this hip line, I will come up by 1 inch. You can do 1.5, 2.5, or 2 inches if you wish. I will come up by 1 inch. Mark it right here. This is to make the curve line, because you don't want it to be sharp when you cut it out. So using your hip, the hip curve, and just take out these pins. Using the hip curve, you place it on that 1 inch that you made. And you just curve it out like this to connect to the rest of the fabric. You connect it like that. And that is it. Okay, so now we're ready to cut it out. Remember, I said the neckline for the back and the front are the same. It's 3.5 inch wide and 3 inches in depth. So I will just come and cut it out like so. And then I'll continue from here because I want to cut out the back armhole first. then I'm going to just cut out the front armhole now. So my neck, after measuring around my neck, after joining the shoulder, I got 21. So I will be measuring that out here. This is my 21. However, we'll be leaving some out in order to be able to tie the necktie after we attach it to the our neck. So I'm using 39 inches. So this whole length I will cut out. Also I'm using 1 inch for the width. So it's 1 inch by 39 inches and that I'm going to cut out for the neck time. First I'm going to pin this down because this fabric is very slippery. So this is our necktie. Okay, so to draft your bishop sleeve, first thing you're going to do is get your pattern paper and fold it into two. Then you will determine your length, the length of your sleeve. For me, I want my sleeve to be 22 inches. However, on the main body of the sleeve, I will be marking 20 inches plus ½ inch seam allowance. So the other 2 inches is going to be the band. So I marked 20½ inches. The ½ inch is to join the main sleeve to the band. So I draw the line, and then on the folded edge you measure out your cap sleeve, your cap length For me, my cap length is to get your cap length, you're going to divide your bust measurement by 12 plus 0.5 inches. So for me, I got 3.666, so I'm rounding it off to 4. I make my 4-inch mark here, and then I rule it out. On that 4-inch line, I will be adding my armhole measurement. Mine is 9 inches. I mark it here. Then take your ruler. You connect that line all the way to the end, the edge of the folded edge. Then I will now get the midpoint. So I measured what I have here, and I have 10 inches. So my midpoint is gonna be 5 inches. I mark it right here. On that midpoint, I'll go up by ½ inch. Then you draw a line. From that line, you draw the line to meet the end where your armhole was ended, like this. So this will be for the back armhole. That's gonna be for the back armhole. So you draw the line to meet the where your armhole will end, and then you use your French curve to shape out the rest, like that. Okay, again, let me take it again. The first thing that we did is to determine the length of our sleeve, and I marked it there. And then from the folded edge, I marked down 4 inches. The 4 inches is my cap length, which is, to get that, you have to divide your bust measurement by 12 inches plus 0.5 inches seam allowance, and you get your cap sleeve. Mine was 3.666, and I rounded it up to 4. So that's the 4 inch I marked down here. On that 4 inches, which is my cap length, I'll measure out my armhole, which I did here. From the end of that armhole, where you made the mark, you connect it all the way to the folded edge, and then you measure the line you drew, and then get the midpoint. On the midpoint, you connect with your ruler straight down to the end of the armhole, and then use your French curve to connect the rest, which is right here. So now, so this is going to be for the back armhole. Remember that the front armhole, we went in by a quarter of an inch, which means it's deeper than the back armhole. So on this 1 inch that we made up, you take your French curve again, like this. Take your French curve and align it to meet from the midpoint here to the folded edge, like this. And then you turn your French curve again. From that mark, use your French curve to connect the rest down to your armhole. Okay, and then that's basically it. So this is your front armhole. You can also use your hand like that to draw it down to the end of the armhole. So for the rest, you don't do anything. We're not doing any sleeve round. All I have to do is extend this line, the length line, and then you use your ruler and connect from your armhole all the way down. You just connect all the way down. Okay, and then your sleeve is basically done. We're going to cut it out. So remember, we will be gathering this end, and then we will measure our wrist for the band, for the wristband. So we'll gather and up to the measurement we got for our wrist, and that's what we will use to make our bishop sleeve. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out and place it on my fabric to cut the rest out. And I'm going to cut it out. Okay, so now that's my sleeve. So I folded my fabric in 4, and I got my two sleeves. So like I explained earlier, what we're going to be doing, this is the sleeve. After you attach it, we'll be gathering this end. We'll gather this end, and then I'll be using a band after it's been after we have gathered it. Measure my wrist round where I want my sleeve to end. Gather it like this, and then we'll use the whatever measurement that I got. Then I'll be adding my band on it, and that's it. Okay, now so to cut out the band, your wristband, all you have to do is use your tape measurement and measure around your wrist. You can make it as tight as you want. So mine is 8 inches, but I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance. So you fold your fabric in 2, and then you measure. The height of my own is going to be 3 inches, and then I measure out the length. I measure out the 9 inches right here, and then I'll cut. So you cut it out. So I have two right here, one for each wrist. So that's it. We finished cutting out all our what we need. So after cutting it, this is how it will look like. This is the sleeve band. This is the sleeve. You're going to right on the bottom. We'll gather here and then attach the band. And this is the sleeve. You will be attaching it right here. That's the sleeve. I've joined the shoulder, and this is the neckline. So I pin the neck band around right here, going to the back. So this is what this remaining, you'll be tying this. Okay. And that's the top. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye. See you again soon.